Medical AI is huge right now. You only need to look at the headlines to see some of the potentially life-saving advances that are being made in the field. Recently, Google has developed a superhuman breast cancer detector, and Paige, a startup based out of Cornell Tech, is doing clinical-grade research in pathology. But what exactly is medical AI? Well, you take a medical scan, such as this mammogram, run it through your trained AI model, and it will output a region of interest as well as a diagnosis, like benign or malignant. With these diagnostic assistance tools powered by artificial intelligence, we can make medicine more affordable and accessible and help doctors make life-saving decisions more quickly and with a higher degree of certainty. But how do you actually build these models? Well, there are two main ingredients, the first of which is commonly known, and that is your training data. You need thousands upon thousands of images. Now, the second ingredient is less well known, and that is an equal number of labels or annotations. Without these labels, machine learning models are practically useless because they can't learn what to look for or how to find it. Ashan and I learned this the hard way when we were working on our thesis in the medical research space, and we decided to talk to some practitioners to see if they were having similar problems. What we discovered is that there are three main pain points. One, labels are expensive. It can cost upwards of $300 an hour to label a data set. Two, it's biased, as the practitioners can only afford 1 to 2 labelers on staff at a time. And lastly, it takes a long time, as there are high turnover rate among labelers. With Laibel, we can reduce the cost of labeling an image from $12 per image to $5 per image. We can reduce the bias by increasing the number of labelers from 3 to 9 per image, and reduce the time it takes to label a data set from nearly a year down to a matter of weeks. We can do this by using our unique tier-based labeling system. We take the data that our clients give to us, we run it through our predictive labeling system, which is free and virtually instantaneous. Next, we use our labeler rating and validation system to assign the labelers to the best low-cost experts, such as medical students and residents. And finally, using wisdom of the crowds, we can determine the most difficult cases and have our hand-picked experts validate those and finalize the labels. Now we'll take you through a demo of how a labeler may use our product.
Welcome to Laibel. This is your profile page where you can find the different datasets you interacted with. If you want to label a new dataset, you can click here to access the Label Center. On this page, you can search and find datasets recommended for you. When you click on a dataset, you can find the detailed description and the medical images it contains. In the labeling page, you can use a wide range of tools to interact with the image or draw your annotations. The predictive labeling tool shows you an approximation of the specific area. You can now draw with your pencil tool a precise label. When you're done, you can submit it by clicking on the button. Thank you.
Next, let's go through the business model. So we think on a per image basis, we can net a profit of around $2.60. And we think we have a fairly sticky product, given that per customer, we see that on average, they have around 5 data sets, and each of those data sets has around 10,000 scans. And since it takes about 3 months for those data sets, we should be able to keep a customer for at least a year. We're also predicting a fairly minimum marketing spend, given that we're going to be doing direct sales by staying active in the research circle and publishing case studies. Given all that, we think we should be profitable by year 3, with those profits increasing year over year as our predictive labeling algorithms begin to outstrip the need for manual labelers. We're in a fairly young industry, and we do have Amazon in the left quadrant there, but they're focused on very menial tasks using unskilled labelers, such as labeling an apple or a peach. Given the gap in the market, there's been a new surge of startups such as Scale and Mighty AI doing very industry-specific data labeling, specifically traffic data for self-driving cars. That's why we want to be one of the first companies to be industry-specific to medical AI using experts. And it's a good time to do so, given that the medical AI market is supposed to grow to around $22 billion by 2023, cutting off at least $5 billion for just medical data labeling alone. Thus far, we've spoken to many medical practitioners to validate our wisdom of crowd approach. We're also in the process of procuring our first customer at an IHC development lab at Weill. After that, we're going to finish building our web-based annotation interface that we showed earlier. We want to start running digital campaigns to gauge pricing, market sizing, and start building out our sales pipeline. And lastly, we want to finish off our work on our federated learning framework that will be used for those initial predictive labels. Thank you.